going, but I know the road is long. I wonder if you could use some company. I'm headed out that way, so what I'm trying here to say is I wouldn't mind if you came along with me. Take a road trip, pack the car, give yourself a holiday, and we can go the long way if you like. Take a road trip, who cares where we are, miles and miles of distant stars, and we can stop sometimes to see the sights on a road trip. I don't know if we'll make it on the tank of gas we got, but I can top it off if you get the snacks. We got a couple hours of daylight, and we've been feeling alright, heading out and never looking back. On a road trip, pack the car, give yourself a holiday, and we can go the long way if you like. Take a road trip, who cares where we are, miles and miles of distant stars, and we can stop sometimes to see the sights on a road trip. Take a road trip, pack the car, give yourself a holiday, and we can go the long way if you like. Take a road trip, who cares where we are, miles and miles of distant stars, and we can stop sometimes to see the sights on a road trip. I don't know where you're going, but I know the road is long. I wonder if you could use some company. I'm headed out that way, so what I'm trying here to say is I wouldn't mind if you came along with me. Take a road trip, pack the car, give yourself a holiday, and we can go the long way if you like. Take a road trip, who cares where we are, miles and miles of distant stars, and we can stop sometimes to see the sights on a road trip. I don't know if we'll make it on the tank of gas we got, but I can top it off if you get the snacks. We got a couple hours of daylight, and we've been feeling alright, heading out and never looking back. On a road trip, pack the car, give yourself a holiday, and we can go the long way if you like. Take a road trip, who cares where I know the road is long. I wonder if you could use some company.
Hi friends! I am finally back from my little hiatus. I am also back from my trip to Salt Lake, which many of you know. I took a brief trip out to Salt Lake City with my boyfriend for a couple of days. So I was gone Monday and Tuesday. I came back today, which is Wednesday, October 18th. And I have so many books that he bought me to make up for something that he had accidentally purchased. I'm not gonna say what it is, but just know that I have a ton of books. So this is going to be my little book haul portion of this video. Just to give you guys a quick heads up, I didn't just get books from Barnes & Noble, but many of you know that the boyfriend did spend quite a significant amount of money on books from Barnes & Noble, including some that I had to have shipped here. So there's also going to be a tiny unboxing as well. So there are more books than just the ones from Barnes & Noble. So there's a couple bags here that aren't from Barnes & Noble, but I have 4 bags full of Barnes & Noble books, including one of those bags being a tote bag that I got for free for, I think I signed up for a Barnes & Noble membership. So there's that. So I got the tote bag for free with my purchases. So there are 3 actual like plastic bags from Barnes & Noble, just to put it into perspective on how much I actually got there. A better way of explaining it was I had to go up to the front registers 3 times because my hands were full of a massive stack of books that I couldn't carry by myself. One of these many books that I got from Barnes & Noble was The Lies of Locke Lamora. I also have the Cruel Prince trilogy. I also got the Rise of Kyoshi book, The Alchemist by Michael Scott, Unwind, book 1 in the Unwind trilogy. Dystology is Aragon from the Inheritance series, which I already have the 3rd book. I don't have the 2nd one, but I do have the 3rd book. The 3rd book was lent to me by my aunt, and I kind of actually wanted to start from the 1st one just to kind of get myself into it before I start taking on the 3rd or even the 2nd. And over time, this pile right here will start to get bigger as I pull more books out of these bags, because there's a lot here. Crown of Ivy and Glass by Claire Legrand, Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas, to finish off the Throne of Glass series. And this is a big one. This is a big boy. Pretty much almost as big as A Court of Silver Flames by the same author, of course. But I think this might be just a smidge bigger. So this is going to take me quite some time to actually finish because, well, I have to start the series over and, actually, catch myself back up before I can actually read this one. And of course, I finally got my hands on The Princess Bride. We all know and love the movie. I even got a lanyard from one of the other stores that was at the local mall over in Salt Lake City. So I ended up getting one that was inspired by, of course, The Princess Bride. I've seen the movie, never read the book. I am so excited to read this. Next I got was the first book in the Mistborn series, The Divine Comedy, which is the trilogy by Dante, which includes, Inferno, Purgatorio, and Paradiso, Gideon the Knight. I've heard good things about this, and I want to see it for myself. Next couple of books I got was the Year One trilogy. I already have the 3rd book. It's stuck in a cupboard somewhere, so I thought I'd get the first 2 books since I already have the 3rd one. I bought the 3rd one a while ago, and I didn't realize that it was book 3 until I had looked. So thought I'd get year 1 and of Blood and Bone. A couple more stories that I got were both from Agatha Christie. I got And Then There Were None and ABC Murders. Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie. This particular book with this particular cover actually has cute little interactives on it, and if you'll notice, I haven't taken off the plastic wrapping on it. So this one, I have a Beauty and the Beast copy with this similar cover that has a lot of interactives with it, so there's fun little games you can play while you're reading this book to kind of get you further immersed in this type of book. So I am really excited to finally interact with this book, not just read it, but interact with it and have fun with it. Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, Dracula by Bram Stoker, classic horror story, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Percy Jackson and the Chalice of the Gods. There's Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter, Book of Night by Holly Black, the Inheritance trilogy, not to be confused with Christopher Paolini's Eragon series, which I believe is called the Inheritance Cycle. So this is not to be confused with that series, but this one is by N.K. Jemisin, and this one is actually an omnibus full of 3 stories completely, one of which is on my TBR. The others I have not heard of really. And then there's another novella that's in the same universe as this. I've heard so much about NK's writing that I actually want to experience it for myself and not just continuously hear about people gushing and gushing and gushing about how NK's work feels for them. Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter, Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry. I've heard so much about this book and I am excited to have at least one other cozy read that is on my TBR. I'm super excited to finally experience this. The Book Eaters by Sunyi Dean, I believe. I don't want to butcher it, so I will just say Sunyi. So this is The Book Eaters, and I have actually been quite fascinated with this one. I've always wanted to read this ever since I heard about it, so I'm excited to finally experience this one. The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman, The Adjusted Heir by Sarah Hashem. And that is finally all of the books that I have gotten from Barnes & Noble alone. The total cost of all of that was, well, with just this pile was like 580 something. And of course, I almost forgot that I had gotten 2 more books shipped to me. See how big this book is? Or at least this box is. This has 2 books in it, so this is going to be fun. So let's open it up. The War Within by Stephen R. Donaldson and The Killing God. These are books 2 and 3 in the 7th Decimate series, or yes, the 7th Decimate series, which I had read the first book. It was kind of short, but also it was kind of long and quite a bit slow, especially in the beginning, but the ending quite intrigued me to the point where I actually wanted to know what the 2nd and 3rd book was about. So I decided to put at least The War Within on my TBR just to kind of see. And preemptively, I just decided to get The Killing God on there just because it's part of the same series. And they only had them in hardcover format, which is perfect because I already have the first book in hardcover format. And since most of you, if not all of you, are readers, we all know how much we like matching covers. You know, we all know how much we like them. Sometimes I will kind of deviate a little bit, which means I'll have half of a series in paperback, half of a series in hardcover, which I've done with a couple of series that I've already read before, but most of at least one of them is in paperback format. Only a few are in hardcover. These next 3 books are actually from a couple of places in the local mall called the Trolley Square. I do have a couple of pictures, they should have been shown earlier. So that little mall is where I got some of these books, as well as the next several that are going to be showing up here in a bit. But from a place called the Hive Market, which only, I guess, works with local artists, which is super nice, super fascinating. I also got a pair of shoes from there, which are super cute and my size, conveniently enough. But I got The Secret Garden from another place that I can't honestly remember the name of, but I got Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland, you know, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll, with poems, letters, and a biography. It's got special illustrations as well, and I also got this special bookmark, which is themed with the hair all dressed up. So I thought I'd just get this just to kind of see what it's about, just because I've seen all of the Tim Burton movies, and I've also seen the classic animated one. Next book I got because I kind of struggle a bit with descriptions, especially when it comes to buildings. So I got Languages of Buildings. This next book I tried to find it at Barnes & Noble under the sci-fi section, but I couldn't find it for the life of me. And then I ended up finding it at this cute little bookstore, and the second floor of this particular bookstore was more or less the histories of the world. And I almost got History Rewritten Vikings. I almost got that one until I looked at the price tag, and it cost almost as much as the trip to Barnes & Noble. So I just decided to put that one back, and I went to look in the back room, and turns out it wasn't just a little teeny tiny back room, it was a whole like library-esque type of bookstore in the back room. It had a downstairs and everything, and I ended up finding a couple of books that I couldn't find at Barnes & Noble. The first one that I couldn't find was, obviously, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by, Douglas Adams. Next book I got is The Archive Undying. I have heard about this earlier in the year, wanted to check it out. I love this cover, the fact that there is a giant robot angel looking thing on the front of it, kind of like, what's it called? Gundam? Kind of like that. That's what it reminds me of, is my brother's little Gundam sculptures. I don't want to call them action figures because they're not action figures, but this reminds me a lot of his Gundam displays and how he would put them together with a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, basically. And I almost broke something because I was helping him put one together. I also got The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. Ready Player One. We all know about the movie that was based off of this book, but I want to read the book just to, you know the drill, see what it's about for myself. Legend Born. I have heard so many good things about this, and obviously, going to sound like a broken record, want to see what it's all about on my own. The Golden Compass. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And that is all of the books that I have from this trip. All of the books, mind you. I did get a few more things, but they are not really books. I was gonna say book related, but I just remembered that I told you about a lanyard I got from one of the stores, and it's on the actual like lanyard part. It has Inigo Montoya's quote, his famous quote, and it has a little ID badge slot for it, and it has Inigo Montoya's face, you know, in that quite famous pose where he's saying, "My name is Inigo Montoya, you killed my father, prepare to die." And da-da-da-da. This one is the beginning of the famous quote, and then this one is around the end. Yep. And there's his face. So, that is all of the bookish stuff that I got while on my trip to Salt Lake City. Salt Lake was a lot bigger than I had imagined. I thought it was gonna be like the size of Spokane up in eastern Washington, which is where I spent quite a bit of my life. I wouldn't say I was raised in Spokane, but I'm definitely a Washingtonian. So I thought it was going to be as big as that. Nope. My boyfriend and I had to take the highway. He and I had to take the highway/freeway to get to places we wanted to go. So that was quite a new experience. I've never actually had to go on a highway like that to go places. So that was a new and interesting feeling, and it's quite hectic there. But all in all, I had such a great trip there. My boyfriend had a wonderful time at the concert that he went to. That was the original purpose of the trip, was to take me to Salt Lake while he went to a concert, which happened Tuesday night. So I spent most of Tuesday night reading. Not any of the new books that I got, because those were in his truck, but I had quite a nice time on both Monday and Tuesday while we were out and about doing stuff. And now comes the point in my life where I need to figure out where I'm going to put all of these books. So that's going to be fun because I have 0 shelf space for any of these books. I'll figure something out. So with that, I will see you guys later in another video. Bye!
I'm still